All right, so when someone comes in for a baseline test, the process is that we'll start off with getting a medical history, including a concussive history. And so we're going to really take a look at anything that could be influencing our findings as we're looking for concussion. My staff, and at this point that would be Tyler or Luke, that would really take that athlete at that point and run them through the first series of testing that we do. We'll start with a SCAT-3, and that's a standardized concussion assessment tool. We will take them through a balance and equilibrium test that's done on our computerized force plate, or what's known as posturography. And they will also do a vision screen looking for what's known as a post-traumatic vision syndrome. At that point, the patient's transferred back to me, where I will go through a screening neurologic exam. And that really means we're going to hit all the major pathways, input pathways to the brain, and we're going to look for the expected response when we challenge those pathways. So we're going to be shining lights in the eyes and using reflex hammers and tuning forks and pinwheels and such. Once we complete the screening neurologic exam, then if everything's looking good, that's the last part of our exam. So we've completed the baseline test, and now we've got that data to be able to reference if we suspect concussion going forward. Concussion baseline testing is really important, particularly in today's environment. We know a lot more about concussive injury, about contact sports, and the baseline test allows us to do two really important things. One is make the call, was this athlete concussed? If we have a baseline test, we get to look back at how they performed on the same test that we're going to administer to them today and compare that to the test that they did before we suspected concussion. So it really helps us make that diagnostic call. Was this athlete concussed? The second thing that it does is to facilitate the return to play call. We always want for an athlete to be 100% resolved from a concussion before we consider putting them back into game play where they could sustain another concussion. So two really important reasons that I think every parent should be interested in having their children who are participating in contact sports go through a concussion baseline test.